Hey, welcome to Joy TV. It's Ann Timpany of Embodying Joy. And today we're talking about injustice, fairness, how to choose joy in the face of something that just seems wrong. It's not fair. That's not right. Ugh. So when we're choosing joy, what we're choosing is to embody a higher consciousness and to live and act from that place that transcends the duality of right and wrong, fair and unfair, and justice and injustice, and all of the things that draw our attention and focus on the earthly plane. And that is all fine and good, but it doesn't always bring us joy to be playing at that level. So choosing joy means going to a higher frequency where we have transcended those right and wrong, fair and unfair, and are choosing to live from a different place. So I want to share with you a personal example that's happening for me in this moment today as I'm filming this. So this is what prompted me to shoot this video. I recently went on my fabulous family vacation to Greece, and while we were there, we stayed at an apartment that was an Airbnb rental in Athens for a few nights. And so it was a sweet, sweet place. We loved it. We absolutely had the best time. And I came home ready to write a rave review on Airbnb of this apartment where we had stayed. Now, it turns out it's not a person's apartment like some of the Airbnbs. It's more of a business who's actually running this, and they have a lot of apartments that they rent out, kind of like a mini hotel, but they do it through Airbnb. So it's personal, but not as personal as somebody's home. So everything went beautifully. We had a lovely stay. There was no complaints, no issues. We weren't in the room very much even at all. And I got home, and the day after we got home, I got an email saying that the host was requesting 1,200 euros from me. And I said, well, what? And so I read further, and there was a note that said, "Dear Ann, thank you for your stay. Unfortunately, I need to charge you for the damages to your room while you were there." And he attached photos of a sofa in the room, and the photos clearly showed that there was a cut in the upholstery of the sofa where it had torn, and he was telling me that it was our fault and I would need to pay for it. So my first reaction, of course, was this shock, this indignation, like, what? What do you mean? We didn't damage the sofa. And immediately when we're accused of something that we didn't do or that we did, either way, when we're faced with an accusation of any kind, there's this pit in the stomach and there's an emotional response that happens in the body. So that's exactly what happened for me, was the tension in the gut and the tightening up, the shortness of breath, and this intense focus of, what do you mean, kind of tunnel vision. Because of course we didn't damage the sofa. I mean, wow, here comes the wind. The winds of change are blowing. And what I realized was, it was like an attack on my integrity, because I pride myself on living in integrity, and if I was certainly responsible for any kind of damage, I would most definitely pay for it to be repaired. But it was in an area of the room that we had never even gone, and certainly hadn't seen any damage. So I replied and stated this, of course, and the host replied once again and said, "Well, I'm sorry, I need to charge you to reupholster the sofa, because the sofa was not damaged when you checked in, and when you left it was damaged, so therefore it's your fault." And so just thinking through our entire stay, there's no possible way that we could have damaged the sofa. So I'm telling you this because it's a perfect example of how it would be really easy to get sucked into that duality of, hey, I didn't do that, and want to experience tension or anger or frustration or all of the emotions that are not joyful. So there's a wave of that comes through the body that's very normal and natural. The body has a physiological response to that type of input. So there's input that's perceived as some kind of attack or a threat, and in this case it was an accusation of something that we didn't do. And so there's this tension, and then the breathing through it is step one, just breathing through the physical response of, okay, my body's having a physiological response to this input. Okay, now, again, breathing in and choosing to expand the tension. You know, the initial reaction is always to tighten up and tense down. So we've got to breathe space into our bodies anytime we find ourselves in this situation, just to create space for truth. And what we're doing as we do that is we're also letting our brain access our prefrontal cortex again, rather than our limbic system and our emotional response. So the next step then is to turn this over to a higher power, because at this point in this particular scenario there's nothing I can do one way or the other. It's my word against his word, and he's now turned it over to the Airbnb company or organization to resolve the dispute. So it's nothing I have control over. It's my word against his. I know we didn't damage the sofa either intentionally or unintentionally. We weren't even in that part of the room during our stay. So I can just take a stand for truth and trust that a higher power's got my back and let it go. So that's easier said than done when the stakes get high. You know, in this case, it's a situation in which he's requesting 1,200 euros, which is significant, more than I would pay for a stay at this particular apartment. But certainly if I was at fault for this, I would do whatever it took to pay it. But so the point is, now we have to turn it over to a higher power and trust that truth will prevail, that life is always unfolding for me, not to me, and there's a gift in this that is yet to be seen, still looking for it. It's fine. I'm comfortable in the space of not knowing in this moment. And so then the work is simply to alter your physiological response so that you can stay in the vibration of joy and lightness and higher consciousness and allow the universe to manifest whatever the result is going to be, without attachment to any particular result, without fighting, without wanting to push back, without wanting to, get involved in some legal rigmarole of some kind. This is our inner journey of choosing joy, choosing peace, choosing a higher vibration, choosing a higher frequency, because that's the only thing we can control on this whole journey of life. And it's a matter of just practicing over and over and over so that we have that control and that mastery of our own inner experience. So here's one of the games that I like to play, and this is simply telling a laughter story. So first, it's most helpful to contrast and compare by telling the opposite of laughter story, which is the lower vibration traditional response, which is indignation and frustration and shock and anger and all of those negative feelings. So if I were to tell this story from the initial emotional response, it would be something like, who does this guy think he is? We had an awesome stay, and then he accuses me of damaging the sofa, and now he wants $1,200. Pfft, who does he think he's kidding? That's crazy. Now I've been laughing too much, so I can't access that vibration very genuinely. But you get the idea. There's this feeling, this energy of pushing against, and a sense in my language and tone of voice that that's not right, and this guy is wrong, and I'm superior, and there's a right, wrong, inferior duality. The point is to notice how you're feeling as you're saying those words, and notice how you're feeling in your body as you're thinking those thoughts. And always it's a feeling of tension. That made me look like I was taking a dump or something. Right, so if you got the take a dump face on, you're probably not embodying joy. So then telling the story again allows us to embody a higher consciousness. So in this case, we're choosing to look at this entire scenario from the perspective that everything is unfolding beautifully, even though we don't know the outcome, we don't know how it's going to play out, we don't know anything about anything. We don't even have all the details of what's actually true and what happened. We just don't know. And that's the beautiful space in which the universe can handle it, because we don't know. So we don't know, but I'm going to tell this story as if I have access to a higher perspective that does know the truth, that does know that the universe has got my back, that everything's going to be fine, whatever that looks like. So telling the laughter story goes something like this. So we stayed at this wonderful apartment in Greece and had a beautiful time. And when I got home, the owner accused me of damaging the furniture. And I don't know what I'm going to do about it. But I know that it's going to be okay. And I don't know how, but I know that truth will prevail. And no matter what the situation is, I know that I'm okay. Now, that type of story, I can laugh with that ease because I practiced this a lot. But when you're under intense pressure and it doesn't feel funny and you can't laugh like that, it's okay to take a baby step, which would be something like this. So this guy emailed me from Greece, ha 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 ha. Having trouble doing it with a straight face. And he accused me of damaging the sofa. Ha 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 ha. And I don't have $1,200. I'm not paying this guy. Ha 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 ha. But I know that even though I'm feeling this tension, ha 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 ha, I'm choosing with my words, ha 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 ha, to reach for a higher consciousness, ha 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 ha. And even though I'm not feeling joyful yet, ha 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 ha, my words are pointing me in that direction, ha 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 ha. And even though my body feels tense, ha 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 ha, I know that I could take a deep breath at least, ha 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 ha. And I don't know how it's going to turn out, ha 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 ha. And that scares me, ha 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 ha, because in the past it hasn't always worked out well for me, ha 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 ha. Oh, that really scares me, ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. But I can take a deep breath, ha 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 ha. I can smile, ha 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 ha. I can activate my smile muscles in my eyes and my cheeks. And I can say, ha, 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 ha. And I can breathe. And as I'm doing that, I'm flooding my body with endorphins, ha, 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 ha. And this guy is wanting me to pay 1,200 euros, ha, ha, ha. And suddenly that just seems ludicrous. So you get the idea. Walk yourself in the direction of a higher consciousness, a higher level of awareness, and use the laughter story as a tool. Just tell the story, every few words, pause, smile, ha 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 ha. And if you have a friend to do it with, it's sometimes easier to break into genuine laughter because it does strike you as really funny that human life is filled with the drama and the scenarios that it is. It's crazy being human. But the more we laugh, the more we can, flow through life with greater ease and greater joy and less resistance and frustration. And we can break the habit of responding from the old paradigm, emotional response of, and there was that face again. I'm going to take a dump. Sorry. Just, oh dear, it strikes me as really funny. Anyway, the old paradigm is that tension and that indignation and that right and wrong and fair and unfair and that's not right and I'm going to, find justice and all of this stuff that as we're doing it generates all of this physiology of stress in our bodies because we're coming from a place of tension and pushing against. And that's just like so old paradigm, In New Agey terms, we might call it third dimension. If you're a fan of integral theory, you might call it first tier. Same thing. This is how we evolve ourselves and our brains and our beings and our responses from the old to the new, to the new, from third dimension to fifth dimension, from first tier to second tier. We know whatever your language is. So practice telling a laughter story. Whatever is troubling you, whatever is just or unjust in your world, try telling the laughter story and notice how you can shift your relationship to it, even though you can't change anything about it, supposedly. In the physical realm, the vibration that you're putting out changes things, and be prepared to be delighted and excited and surprised. And I don't have a clue what's going to happen with my apartment and the sofa and the 1,200 euros, but I know it's going to be fine. I trust it, and I'm going to have a good time and enjoy my life in the meantime. So thanks so much for watching Joy TV. We'll catch you next time. Bye.